Oklahoma Weekly Update on Coffee with Democrats with hosts Scott Hamilton and Kevin Dawson. And good morning. It's Oklahoma Weekly Update on Coffee with Democrats, the best political satire news show in Oklahoma.
We don't write the headlines. The headlines write themselves. I'm Scott Hamilton.
And I'm Kevin Dawson. It might be the best political satire show in the entire nation.
Well, I won't disagree with that, but we'll take it one state at a time.
There you go.
Kevin, what is up with another top 10 list for Spit to Crow about? Well, maybe if you turn the list upside down.
Oh, there you go.
Since 1941, that's a long time ago, Oklahoma has added the least amount of time in life expectancy at only 9.9 years. That means Oklahomans are only living 9.9 years longer than we did in 1941. Compare this to New York at 16.5 years, Virginia at 18.9 years, and Washington, D.C. at almost 23 years. People are literally dying to get out of Oklahoma. And speaking of not top 10, Oklahoma is now rated as the third worst state in the country for mental health. We're also the most depressed state in the nation. How's that make you feel, Governor Stitt?
Oh, that's terrible. So, on news out of Oklahoma City Council has decided to build a new jail. I mean, it's been all over the news for the last several months. It's an urgent thing. They've got to do it, and they've got to do it now. At-large Commissioner Rusty LaForge put forward the recommendation saying a future jail's location would draw opposition no matter where you might put it. Nobody wants it anywhere, LaForge said. Oklahoma City is in the center of the county. We have got to get moving, have got to build a new jail. LaForge's motion was supported by Ward 5 Commissioner Bobby Newman and Ward 8 Commissioner Don Noble and Ward 3 Commissioner Jeremy Meek. Camel Pennington, the Commissioner's Ward 7 representatives, and its chairman voted against the motion. Ward 2 Commissioner Janice Powers and Ward 4 Commissioner Mike Privet also voted against LaForge's approval recommendation. Two other commissioners, Nate Clare, representing Ward 1, and Dan Govan, representing Ward 6, did not attend the meeting. So the question that is coming up is Oklahoma City using its muscle to stomp on the citizens of Dell City, just as the Reverse L TIF project in Classen Corridor is coming online, and they've got an eyesore in the jail in that district? Or is it the stench of the Oklahoma having one of the nation's highest incarceration rates, making it too inconvenient for Oklahoma City leaders to sell itself as a progressive city with a brown brick monolith jail staring at City Hall on the Classen Corridor as a beacon of oppression and draconian laws? Why not put the jail in Quail Creek District where Rusty LaForge lives, since he is so adamant that we have got to get moving and have got to build a new jail? Whatever the reason for dramatic Democratic stronghold of Dell City just got crapped on its head by Oklahoma City, the wicked witch of the West.
Yeah, that's not real good for inner city politics. Well, speaking of politics, Senate Bill 1218 would make it illegal for anyone 18 years of age to buy the gun of their choosing, any gun that they choose. Right now, 18-year-olds can buy rifles and shotguns, ostensibly for hunting. This bill adds handguns to the arsenals of teenagers. We should note that at 18, only half of the brain that controls impulses has matured. What could possibly go wrong with 18-year-olds being able to legally buy handguns?
And we might remind folks that Uvalde was an 18-year-old shooter.
That's right.
So in additional news around Oklahoma, in a scathing editorial, Cassandra Turner Bradley from Tulsa writes,
"Do you tweet?"
Nah, but I do beatbox all right.
I never know how to react when a grown man beatboxes in front of me. Do you tweet?
so what I'm getting at is the way she wrote this is so interesting because it reads like a beatbox or a rap. Ryan Walters has done nothing but break down what is already broken. The Oklahoma education system.
Stop. Kevin, I never know how to react when a grown man beatboxes and tries to rap in front of me. Let's leave that to the professionals, unless you want me to break out into show tunes next week.
Okay. Ryan Walters has a bad influence on me like he does everybody he meets. So she goes on and says, my job as a parent is to protect my children from immorality and bad things as much as humanly possible. My beliefs matter, and no one has the right to teach my children what matters in our part of what has become a war zone, or the war zone, Oklahoma. It would befit Walters to have a timeout and rethink what he is spewing. It's too bad he has to stir drama when we already have plenty in our meager Oklahoma existence.
Well, we've talked before about Christian nationalist Dusty Devers out of Lawton. He is a nut job. Now, imagine him and others of his ilk having unfettered access to your children if they call themselves religious chaplains. That's what a proposed bill would do. Replace licensed school counselors with these so-called chaplains. No training necessary, no degree required, just a man off the street alone with your child in a locked office. Who comes up with these brilliant ideas? Must be another Ryan Walters effort.
Exactly right. In another editorial, Gary Robert Pinnell from Oklahoma City writes,
Hold on. You're not going to beatbox again, are you?
No.
Thank you.
But Gary brought back to mind the photo of Ryan Walters proudly displaying his erection while another man stroked his leg, and the homophobic hypocrisy Walters engages in. Here's what Gary said. 21st century to Ryan Walters, America has already become the mongrel nation the John Birch Society warned us about. You and they and all the reactionaries in America can't reverse the enlightened course of progress. LGBTQ plus people live in every neighborhood now, eat in the same restaurants, date and marry both men and women. Why? Because Section 1 of the 14th Amendment stated, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws. Federal law supersedes state law, so the new radical conservative strategy is just to wish away constitutional freedoms. Despite your David Duke attempts to reorganize diverse children into straight Americans, we will march with Trump's radical drumbeat. You won't reverse desegregation. More LGBTQ plus people will be born. Some choose to be non-binary. Despite your efforts to ban ideas, some will read To Kill a Mockingbird and The Truth About Alice. Boom. Gary dropped the sledgehammer on Walters like Peter Gabriel smash hit from 1982.
I wanna be sledgehammer. Why don't you call my name? Oh, let me be a sledgehammer.
Too bad that hammer wasn't hitting Ryan Walters in the head.
I think he's so hard-headed he wouldn't have noticed anyway.
That's true.
Metro attorney, whom Governor Stitt once tapped to help his task force on COVID-19 surge planning, has been indicted. This was last week by a federal grand jury for what they're calling a ghost licensing scheme for black market marijuana. Well, and now comes word that SS Ryan Walters' office is located on a locked corridor where access is denied by an armed guard. So much for being a public servant. And speaking of Ryan Walters, he's now on cable news touting the success of formerly failing schools. Why is he doing this now before state testing begins? Well, it's actually Ryan Walters taking credit for work put into place by Joy Hoffmeister's administration. Remember her? You may not have loved her as superintendent of public instruction, but she sure didn't lie every single day of her life and claim credit for someone else's work.
Exactly right. So Republicans got their panties in a wad. And in this article here, where that talks about should school elections be held on different days from other elections, Republicans got their panties in a wad because of the stupid antics of Ryan Walters' dumb shittery that cost them several high-profile school board elections earlier this month. Now they want to blame those losses on timing of an election with low turnouts and wants to move all school elections to be held only on the date of the presidential election or the midterm. Why don't they just wake up and shit can Walters instead of blowing their wad all over the elections? Did you see what I did there, Scott?
I absolutely did. Yeah, let's move right along. We've all seen the pictures of Walters posing with his KKK Mommies for Liberty in group sex. Kevin, have you ever wondered why this group has no black moms? Curious minds. Well, that old expression was kids say the darndest things. Now it's governors say the darndest things. Stitt was quoted as saying Oklahomans want limited government, individual liberty, and personal responsibility. Everything we do in Oklahoma should align with those principles. That means cutting taxes, supporting families, and promoting freedoms. Seems very odd coming from America's worst governor, who has enlarged government, worked to destroy individual liberty, and never takes responsibility for anything. Promoting freedoms, indeed.
Yeah, at the same time, running businesses all out of Oklahoma as fast as they can get out.
That's exactly right. Well, Kevin, we don't write the headlines write themselves.
Until next week on Oklahoma Weekly Update on Coffee with Democrats, I'm Kevin Dawson.
And I'm Scott Hamilton. Thanks so much for joining us. See